Hello guys, so the prelims is over. Now the main game is going to start and that's the mains and we have 85 days left and that's the plan that we are going to make in this video. And I've already done a detailed analysis on prelims and I've told you it was not simply tough. It was unconventional and random in many places and it was highly unpredictable and the traditional preparation alone is not enough and we cannot tell who's going to clear and who's not going to clear. We cannot tell what is going to be the cutoff and all. So everything will have to wait, but you cannot stop your preparation. You will have to continue your preparation. One important thing that we have seen is, see, the prelims phase is psychologically over now. Now, whether you will crack it or not, you will have to prepare for mains. And if your mains ready, whether you clear prelims, you will be able to write mains. If you are not clearing prelims, you will be in the cycle and you will be able to continue with that momentum for the next prelims because you cannot stop here, right? So UPSC examination is now actually going to begin. This is a real exam. Prelims is a screening test and that's the elimination test and it's over. Now the real game, that is the mains. And we have 85 days left. If you are cracking this exam, you cannot prepare after that. So without wasting time, you will have to start and see when we talk about prelims, it's only about survival. And that's about the elimination. It's a screening test. Mains is about selection. So in prelims, you eliminate the wrong options. When it comes to mains, you build your arguments, you build your perspective. You'll have to develop the structure. You will have to show that maturity, balance, and articulation. So many things have been tested here. So during this time, you will have to build all these, your arguments, your perspectives, your structure in the answer. You have to build that maturity also in your answer, right? And you need to bring in that balance on each of the topic in your answer and that proper articulation that you need to convey to the examiner what exactly is asked and what you know. And that is why I've seen many students who clear the prelims, they face it very difficult when it comes to mains because these areas that they may not be actually good at, right? And finally, if you want to be in the list where you need to do excellent, it has to be in the mains. So let's discuss about this. And what I've seen is after the prelims, most aspirants waste couple of weeks because of what happened in the prelims, especially this prelims. It's a nightmare and you will have that anxiety, answer key discussions, cutoff predictions, speculations, you know YouTube videos, overthinking. This is how students waste most of the time, like in the 10-15 days. But I have see, when it comes to serious aspirants, they know one thing. If you are anywhere near the safe zone, your mains preparation must begin immediately. Now, what is safe zone? That also no one can tell. But if you feel that you have prepared well and if you have done well, and this exam is relative in nature, you don't know what is going to be the cutoff. You don't know what others have done. We don't have enough sample size to measure that and do such kind of prediction. So if you have prepared well and you have given exam well, you will have to start preparation. Otherwise also, if you have any plan that you are going to give a next attempt, then you can't waste this time. If you waste this time, you will lose the momentum. So be mains ready, be very well prepared for this 85 days. And if you want to take a break after 85 days, take a 1 week break and then come back again. That's what I can tell you, right? So if you are anywhere near the safe zone, your mains preparation have to start today or even tomorrow when you see this video, right? Because now how many days you have? 85 days is what you have. So whether you write mains casually or whether you write mains like a rank holder, that this 85 days is what going to decide. So even one day you lose from that 85 days, that will have a significant impact on that. So what we need for this 85 days is you need to have a proper planning and you need to build the content and you need to keep practicing. You'll have to write, you'll have to revise. See, I've seen most aspirants fail not because they are weak intellectually. You've cleared the toughest prelims, man. But you fail because you fail to manage these four dimensions. Because with limited time, your planning is not good. That's why we have the mains companion program where we produced consistently the toppers in the first 100. Last year, if you look at Vikas, 27th rank, who was an IPS officer, but now he got 27th rank IAS. Rohin, he got 39th rank. And Kiran, 53rd rank. Sonali, 89th rank. These are from the top 100 who were part of our mains companion program. Last year, Sachin BG, he was part of our mains companion program, 41st rank. So consistently, we produce ranks in the top 100 through the mains companion program, where we plan, we build the content, we make you practice, we make you accountable, we make you write the answer, we evaluate and we give the feedback and we fix your things. And final revision and everything will be done. And we'll give you a proper direction and mentorship. So with the classes, okay? So the first part, let's talk about planning. That's the most underrated dimension. Most students, as I told you, they don't fail not because of knowledge or intelligence or hard work. They fail because they don't have a structured execution system. You have a timeline, right? 85 days. Now you have a big vast syllabus. What I'm going to do with this syllabus in this 85 days? That's what, and there are many fresh areas also that I need to cover, like ethics, internal security, social areas, and all those, right? So once the prelims is over, now the major dilemmas will start. The first one, so far you don't have any dilemma. It's about the prelims, it's about elimination, it's about solving MCQs, it's about stick to GS. Now the question is GS versus optional. Optional 500 mark. GS, essay and ethics 500 mark. The rest of it 750 mark. Now the dilemma start. Rest of it or GS, essay ethics or optional, or essay ethics optional versus three papers. So this is how you start thinking, right? How many hours for GS? How many hours within GS for essay and ethics? How many hours for rest of the three papers? How many hours for optional, right? Which one should I give the priority? Should I give it to ethics or should I give it to, if it is sociology, paper one or paper two? But the real answer is, these all should go and move and studied, revised simultaneously, because it's an integrated exam. You cannot postpone optional. See, even if you score, you don't want to be very exceptional. Even if you score 100, 100, 100, 100, that's fine. Rather than going essay 60, then you're finished. There is no point in scoring one paper 60, another 120, right? Another one paper 80, another one 110, 150. No point. 100, 100, 100, 100, 100. That's enough. That will do well, right? And if optional you score that decent mark also, like around 260 range with this, and then a good decent interview, not an excellent interview, it should not be bad, that's it, then you're there. So this is the kind of planning that you need to have, and you have to do everything well, but at the same time there are areas where you need to prioritize, which is worth getting that reward. Like for example, ethics, if I put more effort, there is a possibility that I can stretch to 130, 140s also. But that luxury I don't have when it comes to paper 3 GS. Whatever I do, it is very difficult to score beyond 100. I understand that. But if I put that effort, right, the cost benefit analysis, if you look at it, optional have a huge cost benefit analysis. Then comes to your ethics paper and then essay also. So these four will have to give priority, but at the same time, it has to be integrated. Now, again, the bigger question and the dilemma is reading versus writing. It is very easy to keep reading. You feel satisfied also. This is the most dangerous trap. Students say, I've seen many who come to me first. I'll first complete reading and then I'll start writing. That day never comes, because if you look at the syllabus, it's infinite. The more you read, the more incomplete you feel. And in mains, I always tell, read one book 5 times. Revision, repetition, and the practice is what more important. Mains, that's the case. Prelims, it's different. Read one book 5 times. Read as much as possible. Cover as much as area as possible. But that's not the case when it comes to mains. So if you continue, just keep on reading, answer writing will never start. And if you're not writing answer, everything will find fresh for you towards the end, and revision get destroyed, answer writing will get destroyed, and that is biggest reason of failure. The more you write, the better will be your articulation skill, the better you will be doing in mains in time management and articulation and presentation. If you're not writing, you're thinking that I accumulate all the knowledge and I reproduce at that time, it's not going to work out. Another question that the students always have is the sequence confusion. Should I start with GS2 or should I start with GS1, or should I finish the optional first and then comes to ethics and then essay and then rest of the GS paper 3 in the last 10-20 days, as I've done that in prelims? See, because of all these confusion, what happens is your valuable days will disappear. And we have the mains companion program where we structurally guide you what you need to do on day one, what you need to do from day two, and all these days with a mentor, a companion who will be assigned to you, and he will be taking care of that. Your job is only to study, your job is only to revise, your job is only to give the test, and your job is only to follow the feedback properly and improve accordingly and be there in the list towards the end. So let's understand the reality of mains. The mains is not merely a knowledge exam. It is testing your knowledge, definitely. It is testing multiple skills, your writing, your articulation, and all those, your, endurance also, because you need to keep writing for 3 hours without any stop, and then psychology. So all these will be tested. So, 3 people or 5 people or 10 people may know the same content, but someone, same content wise, it will be the same. Let's say paper 3 itself, you get 80, another person get 100, another person get 120. Or ethics, everyone know the same content. Conscience means conscience, everyone know, but the way you articulate that in a question, the way you present that to the examiner, right, and that matters. So that is why some of you get 80, some of you get 100, some of you get 125 in ethics. Same is the case with essay. There is the topic which is given is known to everyone in the world, but the way you articulate, the way you present your arguments, your counter arguments, the way you balance and everything is what ultimately decide, and that will be different for different person. The content remains same for everyone, right? So when it comes to mains, what matters? The keywords. The what basically mains reward you is the structure. Now, how you prioritize your arguments, how you articulate your point, and the multi-dimensionality that you bring in. Right. It doesn't mean that pastel approach, political, economics, administrative, social, technology, and all those. That's a cliche. Not talking about that multidimensionality. The way you present and the speed at which you can complete the paper and the balance in your arguments also. I repeat, the structure, the prioritization, the articulation, the multidimensionality, the way you present, the speed in which you complete the paper, and finally the balance that you show and the maturity that you show in the paper. So, see, the problem is not the content, right? In fact, I would give second priority only when it comes to content. In prelims, we have standard books and that's enough. But in mains, there is no single perfect source. And because of that itself, there are, multiple issues. Suppose you studied emergency, right? For example, uh, because there are issues in lack of micro-thematic coverage, right? For example, you studied emergency. You know Article 352, 356, 360, constitutional provisions and procedure. But what UPSC asks us, why has the use of Article 356 declined? Now, in this question, you need to have a complete idea about judicial revolution, political maturity, coalition federalism, and Bombay judgment, and changing the center state relations. So, this is not available directly in a single source or a standard book. And that is why mains preparation require micro theme preparation. Now, from where you get it? By reading editorials, it's a accumulated preparation that actually help you. Right. Again, the problem too that I have seen is lack of analytical depth. UPSC is no longer asking you what is federalism. Rather, it asks you cooperative federalism, competitive federalism, compare cooperative, competitive federalism, fiscal federalism, asymmetrical federalism, politicization of governors. All these are directly connected with what federalism, centrally sponsored scheme, that's also federalism. So the meaning here is you need to know the concept, you need to have the analysis, you have to give the examples, you also have to bring in the current relevance and your own perspective. So that kind of analytical depth and the maturity is something which you have to show. And again, I've seen this issue with many of you that when you're preparing for prelims, you are very good at static level, but there is a linkage between static and current. That backward linkage approach is actually missing. This is where most students are collapsing also. For example, let me talk about preamble. So when we talk about static preparation, you talk about justice, liberty, equality, fraternity. But what mains require is debate on secularism, socialism, the constitutional morality, the judicial interpretation, the contemporary political debate, right? And that integration is the real game when it comes to mains paper. So that is how the prelims and mains is different, and that's where the students are getting confused. So we will anyway cover all those in our mains companion program. Now, see, practice is the next step, right? That's the ultimate difference between aspirants and the rankers. That's the most important pillar, answer writing practice. If you look at my mentees, if you look at Vikas, the podcast is available in this channel. Vikas, 27th rank, Rohin, 39th rank, Sonali, 89th rank, Kiran, 53rd rank. All the podcast, I have kept it for you to understand what they have done. What they have done is answer writing. And if you look at Sachin last year podcast, he have written 5,000 answers. Can you believe it? And we have evaluated almost 800 answers. He forced us to evaluate that much. And even Kiran also, if you look at it, we have evaluated so many answers apart from the regular test series. So that the kind of commitment they themselves have shown. And they themselves keep writing and get it evaluated from the peers and themselves, right? If not, it may not be possible that your 1,000 answers that get evaluated by us, but still, that's the point. What I want to tell you is why they are in the top 100. If you look at their main score, you will understand Vikas or Kiran or Rohin or Sachin or Sonali. I'm only talking about those in the first 100. All those podcasts are available. There are mentees, there are mains companion program students. And the way they got benefit from that, they're explaining in that also. And the way we taught them, the way we shaped them in their answer writing and their planning and everything, the way we made them practice, everything is very clear in that. And you will understand the importance and significance of answer writing. So mains is not an exam that you can clear with passive reading for sure. You have to think quickly, you have to structure instantly depending upon the key demand of the examiner, and you will have to prioritize the points, and you need to write under pressure with that speed, and you have to complete each and every question in time. You cannot leave one question, and at least 16 questions out of 20 you'll have to write with extreme quality, rest of the four average. 16 questions, you have to make sure that you have given quality answers. How will you make sure that 16 questions? That is what we have discussed so far, and we will be discussing further. So what I've seen is the two bigger answer writing problem. One is content deficit. We have nothing to do rather than you have to study and you have to prepare. Sometimes you open a question and you feel like I don't have enough content. I don't even know. I don't even have seen this. For example, ping revolution, they're asking. If you have not seen this, then you don't know. You have nothing to do with it. You cannot bluff. You cannot beat around the bush. There is no point. If you don't know what is ping revolution, you cannot touch also. Right? So you will struggle to fill even one page. Forget about one page. Even one line you cannot write if you don't know. Sometimes there can be content overload also. You know too much, but you don't know what to include, what to leave, and how to structure and all those. In both of these situations, your success depends not on knowledge alone, but on writing skills. And that skill will develop only through repeated practice. If you're not writing, you don't develop that skill. Anything you keep doing practice, that is what you'll get, right? That skill is what you'll develop. So daily answer writing is very much essential. From today onwards, don't wait for reading and completing the syllabus. Whatever you have read, whatever you have completed, you start writing the test. You start writing full test every week. Now, for the first 1 month and maybe 45 days, then you start writing full test every alternate days or every 3 days. Sociology test, optional test, you keep writing. Be in time. When you start writing, you will get more perspectives, you'll get more thoughts under the exam scenario rather than you think otherwise. Right? So, see, many students think that I'll start full test later. No, you'll have to start this week itself. Right? So you should not have that answer writing inertia. I know it is very difficult in the beginning, but once you start, then you will go through that. You'll go along with that. Just 1 minute. Yeah. So otherwise, if you start writing later, then you will have the issue, the pain will be there. So your mind and your hands and everything should be in coordination. So for that, practice is required. When you start writing, the thoughts will follow. Otherwise, you won't get the thoughts if you're writing today, but with practice, it will come. Right. So that inertia, you have to eliminate that your hands hurts, the thoughts won't come. Introductions become very weak, conclusions becomes repetitive, timing issues there. This is very normal when you start. Understand that. And then with time, so see, it is better that you understand now and correct it rather than you go and write in the exam and feeling that pain and the pressure, right? Same thing can happen there also. So why we need to give that wait for that time? You can correct it now. So the ideal mains model is read whatever you read, write whatever you wrote, get it evaluated, revise. Every single day, keep doing it and talk to your mentor. Every 3 days, talk to your mentor. If you're writing mains, you have to talk to your mentor every 3 days. In prelims, that's not required. Maybe 1 week or 2 week. right? So because writing is important, someone have to give you the feedback on what you're writing. So not only feedback, that accountability is also matters. The direction also matters. That is why when I ask question to all these mentees, if you remember in the podcast, whether it is the direction we gave or the answer writing or evaluation or the feedback or the accountability, what matters more? They say it's a combination. There is nothing like accountability alone or nothing like feedback alone. All these cumulatively put them in that top 100, right? Now, what you do in this 85 days? Let's discuss this strategic execution. So the syllabus have to be divided into micro themes, not broad subjects. For example, polity should not be studied or it should remain as one giant subject. So break down into constitutional philosophy, federalism, parliament, judiciary, local government, constitutional bodies, election, governance, social justice, IR, and daily targets. If you can fix, it is manageable also in this case. Now you already are familiar with all these because of your prelims. You have done very well. And then the question is which GS paper should be prioritized? See, GS2 and ethics are mostly the scoring papers. Historically, if you see GS1 marks fluctuate heavily, a lot depend upon the social issue question also. GS1 mark so that it will fluctuate. GS3 is unpredictable. GS2 and ethics are becoming the stabilizers. And that is why many serious aspirants prioritize these areas, ethics and GS2 and governance, polity, IR, ethics case studies, constitutional analysis, administrative understanding. And now make the daily structure for mains. A proper mains, preparation is required. For that, you see, it's just 80 days. I want you to give yours 15 to 16 hours. If you can see, many people think that it's not, see, there is a difference of opinion also. You give quality 10 hours, you can do it. It again, depending upon the person. But if this 80-85 days is what going to decide your future for rest of the 50 years, why can't you give 15-16 hours for this 80 days? I'm asking only that only. I asked this to my mentees and they have given it and they are in the top 100. So why you need to be saying that I can have a quality 10-12 hours and then I can scroll the reels and other things? Why that is required? If this 85 days, if you sacrifice this 15-16 hours, right? That's it. That is something which you have to do. There is no question about that. Then don't think that instead of 15-16 hours, I'll give 10-11 quality hours or disciplined hours. That is fine. But if I know that this 80 days can save or that's done, if I'm giving 15-16 hours from my side, I put that effort and I can get it done. Say 10, imagine 10 hours. Now 85 days, that 5 extra hours which I'm giving, that is 1/3 extra prep or 50% extra prep. Instead of 10 hours, you are preparing for 15 hours. So X is doing 10 hours, Y is doing intense effort and preparing 50% extra. So if he is doing 50% extra, you may say that 10 quality hours. So here he is doing 50% extra. Don't you think he get 20% extra reward? And that 20% itself is enough to, that is what required to put you in that 100. So you'll have morning slot where you can study optional, read optional, answer writing on optional, conceptual depth and everything you clear. Afternoon, when you feel like slightly, not that concentration or anything, then you go with GS and micro themes and, consolidate your notes, examples, value addition points and everything. Evening slot, it should be for writing practice, evaluation, revision. You yourself evaluate, you yourself give feedback, get it. You can use the ChatGPT also. You can talk to your mentor also. See, unlike prelims, mains does not require endless revision cycle. Even if you have too strong revision, plus that one final brush up on the topics, can produce excellent result. So the resources need to be limited and consolidated, whether it is optional or for GS also. So do not blame, that others are doing this and UPSC have done this in prelims and all those. Start preparing today itself. And I don't want you to collect so many PDFs and so many notes. Don't get addicted to whatever you see in Telegram, whatever you see in internet. Don't collect all these materials. It's of no use. You'll see endless current affair compilation. You'll feel like one is missing, the other is having more. You'll see a lot of toppers notes. No need to follow all that. Hundreds of sources. You have that standard sources, whatever, and read that, repeat it, talk to your mentor, keep talking to your mentor, get the feedback, get the analysis done. Be very good with the answer writing. See, I would say a ranker is someone who revises the right things multiple times. That's what I told you in the beginning. One book 5 times. That's the main strategy. See, the psychology of mains. This is something which I want to tell you. UPSC preparation is deeply psychological. When you sleep after completing your reading or writing and your revision, you'll develop the confidence. You'll develop that momentum for the next day and emotional stability. And that consistency is actually what creating the rankers. I've seen this very close with my rankers. I'm not talking about all, I'm talking about those first hundreds only. Whether it is Vikas, who got IPS and under training he got IAS, or Rohin or Kiran, it was his sixth attempt and he got 53rd rank. Last attempt, he went to interview. He couldn't clear it. And the sixth attempt. So I've seen all these people very closely and interacted, and that is why I'm telling this. So you can take it, or at least don't ignore it. So the next 85 days that can completely transform your life and use it, accordingly. But only if you stop your, romanticizing your preparation or over planning or consuming endless content. Remember, there is no point in endless content. We need to reproduce. We need to revise. Over planning is not required. There is a structured planning which is required. And don't plan yourself. You can allow it to someone who's outside, you let him plan and you get it done. That will be better so that you will be accountable to what that plan and to execute also. But it has to be a trustable person and the person with the knowledge also and the person who have experience also. And start executing everything daily. Answer writing. Writing daily is required. Daily 3-4 answers must have to write. Revise daily. Think analytically. Right? See, that is why UPSC mains is not won by the most intelligent person. It is won by the one who have that discipline. Discipline, who have the clarity, who build structure, who build analytical thinking, who express things in a proper way, right? And execute whatever we discussed consistently under pressure. Timely answer writing. So from today onwards, your preparation should become structured, your preparation should become measurable and answer writing oriented, every day 5 answers, 3 to 5 answers, revision centric, everyday revision. And you have to be, guys, psychologically stable. Because now, after prelims, the mains, that's when the real UPSC journey begins. The elimination is done. Now, the selection. Now, the game of selection. So, this 85 days, this is going to decide whether you remain as an aspirant forever or become a future civil servant. Remember that. And in case if you want any help from our side, if you wish to join our mains companion program, feel free to get in touch with us. See you. Thank you.